Hello neighbor, this is Curt with eTrailer, and today we're taking a look at the Kuat Transfer V2 bike rack, and we're going to see how it fits on our 2024 Jayco Alante Motorhome. Transfer V2 is a bike rack that's going to fit into the 2x2 inch hitch of your motorhome. So it won't be one that'll clamp onto your bumper. You can use it in the hitch, which will also allow you to use it in a vehicle that you have at home with a 2x2 inch hitch as well. However, if you do that, just realize that while it has a 60 pound per bike capacity on a vehicle, on an RV or a motorhome like this, it's only going to have a 40 pound capacity per tray, but that's still going to accommodate a lot of the bikes that are out there on the road. It's wheel mounted through this arm and hook right here. This is operated very simply through this button here. You just press it, lift up on it when you need to, and in order to clamp down on the wheel, you just simply ratchet it all the way down nice and tight. Our other contact point is going to be on the rear wheel, where we're going to have this ratcheting strap in this wheel cup back here. The wheel cup can be adjusted and tilted through this right here, so you can accommodate some of the different wheelbases that you might run into out there. So let's take a look at how this fits on the back of our Jayco Alante. You've got plenty of clearance behind the bike. Even with the handlebars here, if we're on a rougher terrain, we're really not in a whole lot of danger of it, knocking up against the back here, even if we had a slightly wider handlebar. If you do have a bike with really wide handlebars and you notice it's getting pretty close to here, you could always wrap it in a towel, or what I've seen a lot of people use is like a piece of a pool noodle to put around there just to buff it against hitting the back of the RV. But we've got a pretty good amount of space back here, I think. And if we're really going to kind of check out just kind of what kind of footprint this is leaving behind the RV, from the bumper to the furthest point here, we're looking at 30.5 inches. So just keep in mind, you got another 2.5 feet back here down by the bumper. Depending on your camera configuration, you may or may not be able to see that too well, but you do have that extra back here to account for. The other thing that we're going to want to take a look at is what kind of ground clearance that we have. So the ground clearance that we have is going to be around 25.5 inches. Now that should be plenty of ground clearance, even with as much bounce as you get in the back of a motorhome. That should be plenty of ground clearance to not have to worry about bottoming out anywhere. But keep in mind, earlier I did mention that this bike rack on an RV is going to be able to carry up to 40 pounds per tray. There is no ramp attachment that's available for it. So however much your bike weighs, just make sure you're comfortable getting it up to a height of about 27.5 inches in order to load and unload it off of the rack. Loading and unloading your bike from the rack is really, really simple, and that's actually where the design of this comes in to be really unique and different. The cool thing about the Transfer V2 is that you can move this arm out of the way, and then this U shape actually allows us to get really close to the bike that's closest to the motorhome. So from here, I don't have to reach over anything to get at it. So from here, what I'm going to do to remove the bike is I'm going to go ahead and press my tab back here on my rear wheel strap. It's going to release, and I'm just going to feed it through the spokes and clear it out the other side. At this point, what I'm going to do is go ahead and grab the frame to keep the bike upright, depress this button, lift my hook all the way up out of the way, and clear the wheel. At this point, I can get my bike down, and I'm ready to hit the trail. Once the bike is off, we'll get our arms folded back in. Now from here, in order to fold it up into its stowaway position, there's this little foot pedal here that has a latch up at the top of it. The idea is you could stick your foot up there and do it like that. However, it's pretty high off the ground on the RV here. You could simply reach in with your thumb, bring back that latch, depress the lever, and lift up against it in order to get it into its stowaway position. Now, when you bring the bike back to get it loaded up, this is really exposed at this point. So depending on your height, it could be easy while you're holding your bike to just reach up, depress that down, and get it deployed so you can load it back up. But while it's in this position, we've reduced that footprint behind our bumper down to only 10 inches. So significant reduction. We cut that down by 66% pretty much. As far as how much this is leaving back there. This is going to be much more maneuverable for you. It only comes out a little bit past our ladder here anyway. So this should be pretty safe as far as getting in and out of any kind of tighter spaces or backing up somewhere without having to worry about running into anything. So that's a look at the Kuat Transfer V2 bike rack on our 2024 Jayco Alante. If after watching this video you decide that this is the bike rack for you in your motorhome and you get it and you get to try it out a little bit, please share with us what you think about it in the comments below. We would love to share your experience with other neighbors so they can make the best decision for themselves. Once again, this is Curt with eTrailer. Thanks for stopping by.